disappointed with that game. The girls fought right down to the end. It just wasn't to be.
Yes, for sure. It is difficult, but I think just going to motivate us to do better things in this game.
Okay, well, go well in this game. All the best.
Thank you.
Let's bring in the I'm sure you might wanted to win the toss as well.
Yes, it was decision, and I won the ball.
You're happy with batting first?
I'm happy with that.
What about the team? How do you feel the team has held up in this tournament so far?
I think it's been pretty confident about the tournament by just taking a lot of self-belief and, they have the skills, they have the talent, they just need to put in the work.
What about you personally? How has this been for you, captaining the team and coming to Trinidad and Tobago to play?
It's been quite a battle for me personally. The radio we just coming from four and straight into on the 19th wicket. It was a bit challenging, but I tried to take the challenge.
Okay, well, go well today.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that is the situation here. Trinidad and Tobago again winning the toss and opting to field first. So it means the Windward Islands will take first knock. A very good morning to one and all once again as we welcome you down here to the Diego Martin Sporting Complex. The umpires are out and so too are the teams. The Trinidad and Tobago team, they won the toss and opted to field first. And of course, Troy Trudeau and Ryan Willoughby, the two umpires for today. And Trinidad and Tobago will be again relying on the brilliance of their bowlers to try to limit them. And the first ball is right on spot there by Kanisa Kassar. She did a pretty good job in the last game. I'm Ruskin Mark working along with Billy Furlong. And of course our producer today is Kadir Mohammed. Ian Wason is on camera. And Chief Cook and Bottle Washer. And that's a good delivery, but it's very well played. So they're off and running once again. As I say, good morning to you, Billy. And an important game. I suppose every game at this level is important.
Good morning to you, Ruskin Mark, and good morning to Trinidad and Tobago, and a pleasant good morning to wherever you are in the Caribbean, tuning into us here at the Diego Martin Sporting Complex. Trinidad and Tobago electing to field, which is a bit of a change up for them. Normally they have been trying to chase down totals in this tournament so far. This time winning the toss, opting to have a bowl first, and it's Kamika Kassar, and going to be bowling to Cyan Felix, who's come into this opening batting position in the last 3 games.
Again, she's bang on target, does have the ability to bring the ball into the right-hander. And I suppose Coach Ken Williams will be working with her. She falls away considerably on delivery. So I suppose over time, as she gets a little stronger, she would. It's just the mechanics that she has to probably work on. If you look at her in her final delivery stride, when she plants, she kind of goes away to the left and then angles the ball back in. Similar to what Colin Croft used to do, but Crofty used to stand up taller. His front leg was well braced. It doesn't collapse like hers is at this point in time. So bonks, she's probably denying herself that extra bit of bonks and probably extra bit of movement as well.
Kamika Kassar has been spot on in this tournament so far. She's been amongst the top leading wicket takers in the tournament. And just looking at her start here, you can see why. She's already bang on target, hitting those nice areas just short of a length. And getting some ball to just move around a bit, coming off the inside edge.
A little bit of bonks there. In fact, that could easily have spooned, but in the limited overs game, you very rarely find that there is a fielder or fielders in there. So that ends the first over. Just a 1 run coming from it. It's 1 without loss.
And a good start there from Trinidad and Tobago, winning the toss. Samara Ramnath electing to bowl first. They've chased, as I said, in the previous games. And unfortunately for Trinidad and Tobago, they've ended up in this 5th position playoff with the Windward Islands. It's a bit of a rematch with Trinidad and Tobago taking on Windwards previously in the tournament. trying to chase down 61 runs for victory in that game, Trinidad and Tobago. And we see it's going to be Amrita Ramtahal who's going to open the bowling from the southern end. Ruskin will give you the lineups in a little bit, but KD Jazz Mitchell back in the Trinidad and Tobago lineup, Ruskin.
Yeah, obviously they need wickets here. That was one of the areas that they sort of fell down in the last game against Barbados, where they also won the toss and opted to field first. And now they have a chance to put that right. Amrita Ramtahal. And immediately she starts with a good line bowling around the wicket.
Such a talent, Amrita Ramtahal. She opens the batting for Trinidad and Tobago at the start of the season. She opened the batting and opened the bowling as well. But she just dropped down the batting order to the number 3 position, but maintains opening the bowling.
Again, that's a good shot to get them cracking. You could see Zeta James, the captain of the Windward's team. She obviously wants to give her team a solid foundation here.
Yes, much like Samara Ramnath for Trinidad and Tobago, Zeta James has been the rock of the Windward Islands batting lineup in this tournament so far. The most senior player in this Windward Island lineup. Of course, she competes for the senior team as well earlier this year. That T20 tournament for the women's team. It's going to be Cyan Felix. It's going to take up strike at the northern end to Mita Fargo. She has the gloves again behind the stumps. Short of a length and just push back along the pitch.
Again, the line is good, but obviously it's a limited overs game. So while you want to take wickets, you also want to limit scoring as much as possible, and especially to cut out the boundary balls. That's another feature of delivery. Fargo, I'm sure, would applaud that.
You're just flirting outside the off stump. You expect to see a few of these go past the bat with the opening bowlers. That brand new white ball, a bit of an overcast condition. There is some moisture in the pitch. When we had a look at it this morning, groundsman said there was a lot of rain yesterday. So pushed into the offside, no run.
Again, to credit to the bowlers, they're all maintaining good lines. They're not deviating too much from it, and which is a good way to start. She's over the wicket now, so she was around the wicket initially, and taking care of business. Obviously, doing a good job with that. So. 1 off the over. At the end of over number 2, it's 2 without loss to Windward Islands.
And a good start here from both Trinidad and Tobago opening bowlers, Kasa and Ramtahal. Just short of a length, just a slight bit fuller, but holding that line, allowing the ball to do whatever, extract whatever movement they can. As I said, the groundsman on a pitch that is a little bit, some moisture under it from heavy rains yesterday. Spoke to Mr. Ban Rampasad. They had a lot of difficulty preparing the pitch under such conditions. But it does look a fine strip out there. The sun will just dry that strip out once it's allowed to shine down on the pitch.
Again, the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers doing a pretty good job so far. They've not been deviating from the plan, which is to attack that off stump just outside the off stump. And there she goes again, just touching down, and a little bit of lift there, but good carry. Not taken cleanly by Pagu, but a little bit of extra bounce there for her. And look at the movement. The ball pitching on or about middle and off, and then just going across the left-hander. James lucky not to get a touch there. And this time, quick adjustment.
He's just dragging the length back there, and James skilled enough to dab it down to third man. There is no first slip in place, and it's been a bit of a competitive competition between Kasa and Zeta James. We saw at the Brian Lara facility when they met a few days ago. She did manage to dig in some short to Zeta James, and James very prolific on the onside. Was a sharp rising delivery from Casa, and James was able to pull it away down to fine leg. She hasn't been known to get some bounce when that ball hits the seam. And she's been very impressive with her pace as well.
Again, coming back into the right-hander, just cutting her in half, literally. And Felix probably didn't know too much about that one. She saw the original line, and then the ball just kept coming back at her.
There's a lot of exaggerated movement there. Sian Felix coming into this opening position in the last 3 games. Donnell Crease used to occupy that position, but she has been given the wicket-keeping gloves and dropped down the order. So it's Felix to face the music. There's that short delivery, Ruskin.
Yep, again, but it's choking her. She's basically cramped for any kind of swinging movement there, no room. And the ball coming back at her, cramping her. Even though she played it, she looked at it and probably wasn't too comfortable playing it. One, the height, and then the movement. So 3 without loss, just the 1 ball left in over number 3. 1 legal delivery, Trinidad yet to get a wicket. There's another beauty, starting way outside the off stump and then curling back on pitching and going between the bat and the pads. On this occasion, though, it also misses the stump. That ends the over 3 in the books, 3 without loss.
Yeah, excellent start here from Kamika Casa, getting some movement in that over, limiting Windward Islands to 3 runs in their start so far. It's a bit of a cleaning up action here, battling for the 5th place in the Diego Martin Sporting Complex here. Was the Guyana team and the Leeward Islands team. Guyana topping the group, Leeward Islands just edging Trinidad and Tobago out by 0.2 of a bonus point. The Leeward Islands on 16.4 points and Trinidad and Tobago on 16.2, just missing out on playing in the finals.
This one is in the air, and for a moment there, I don't think that Ramtahal actually saw the ball. She just sort of reacted to it. She bowled and she stopped. And then it was only when the ball was almost dying, then she reacted to it. Had she followed through, who knows? She might have been able to claim a wicket there.
And that is the effects of that moisture in the wicket still. The ball just stopping on Zeta James there and just kicking up.
Yeah, she's again trying to go through the line and not able to pierce the field. And it's a standard field for Trinidad and Tobago. There is a 3rd man, a short backward point, a cover deep, extra cover mid-off, wide, mid-on, straightest mid-wicket, short square leg and a fine leg inside the circle. This one is hit in the air and races out towards the boundary. That's the first boundary of the morning. And not too unexpectedly, James is the aggressor.
We've seen in this tournament so far, James has been so proficient in the onside to anything short. Back and across and pulling away to the boundary on many occasions. This time she shows you her ability to penetrate that offside, going aerially over extra cover and into the boundary for 4. And she, of course, provides the impetus to this inning so many times, looking to be the aggressor.
No real adjustment in the field. If anything, the mid-off comes a little bit straighter. Here she goes again. Loud appeal, not out, says the umpire, but again flirting on the pads on this occasion.
Yeah, there is a 3rd down on the boundary. There is a sweeper out there for Zeta James, Captain Ramnath. Is anticipating with that line outside the off stump that she's going to go through that offside in a positive manner. So she has some protection out there. And that sweep on the boundary just comes about 10 yards in. So she's not all the way on the boundary. Realizing with that ball just on the spongy surface here might not go all the way, but might be in the air to that deep cover. Just like that, Ruskin.
Goes straight to her, but she misfields it. The ball pitches and then deviates, and it might actually go into the boundary. It did. And because I'm not sure she was able to retrieve it, so that's 4 runs. She came in, got to the ball, but the ball bounced just in front of her, and then it spun and of course, in the angle from the bat. And unfortunately, she couldn't hold it in, and that is the boundary there once again for James. Maya again. Paul out there in the deep.
Cyan Felix, there's been a third and a fine leg, but with Zeta James on strike, that sweeper is out there on the boundary. Tempted to bring her in just to get that ball in the air, but that is the risk you take if they're not all the way on the boundary. If it goes past them, it's 4. Good looking
Again.
cut shot there.
Yep, playing it well, but not able to pierce the field on this occasion. And that concludes over number 4. For a moment there, it looked as if they weren't sure if the over had come to a close. But at the end of it is 11 without loss, the Windward Islands.
The umpire will be there just for that penultimate delivery. Just having a word with Samara Ramnath. It's a little bit of a delay in that delivery. And again there at the end of the over, the umpire just double checking. And we can see 2 boundaries in that over there off of Ramtahal, and it's Zeta James. No surprise, being the aggressor in that over, looking to get things on the way. It's anticipated that this ground here today is going to have a lot of runs in store. Probably why they haven't used the first slip. It's going to be a fine leg and a third on the boundary again for Casa. No first slip in place.
I think she's going with Casa for her third over. She bowled down. And that was always on the cards, a peach of a delivery coming in, and at no time did Felix look comfortable playing the moving ball. And on this occasion, she never really moved. She just kind of jumped on the ball, pitching and cutting back at her. The bat nowhere in line, and the stumps disturbed.
And the first wicket falling there for the Windward Islands. Cyan Felix not getting off the mark. And 11 runs on the board into the 5th over of the innings. Not a good start here for Windwards. Just when Zeta James was looking to put her foot on the accelerator in this power play of 6 overs and losing a wicket. And such she's had to face this type of situation in the tournament when she tries to accelerate and then they lose wickets, and she just has to tone her innings now. And as Ruskin Mark and I were discussing earlier before the start of the day's play, when you are so prominent in the batting lineup, you want to ensure that you bat the most amount of deliveries, hence you go at the top of the order. And now she may just have to try to mix aggression, temper her shot selection, to ensure that she does bat through the majority of this innings. And the new batter, Jada Tyrell, coming in at number 3. A usual spot in the Windward Island batting lineup, and it's Kassa who's been bang on target and got just reward.
So she will try again, and again the captain showing faith in her, bowling her 3 overs. Not sure she'll bowl her out, and that's a full delivery, passes her on the full, and they will get the 1 run. It should be a wide signal. Oh, it's a bye signal by the umpire. So by the time it passed, it was below waist height. So, and again, you could expect this with the young ladies. Some of them, again, some are developed faster than others. Some are further along. So you kind of take the good with the bad in these development tournaments. But again, quick adjustment from Kassa, and James having to respect it.
Just wondering, Kassa being the leading bowler for the Trinidad and Tobago team, leading fast bowler. Zeta James on strike. It's such a critical wicket, and she's getting that movement across the left-hander on this occasion. James might be tempted, Samara Ramnath, for a first slip.
Yeah, she's again this time giving it a little more allowing it to do a little bit more in the air, trying to see if she could get some swing. She's getting movement off the seam. If she starts to get swing as well, that could be even more difficult for the Windward Islands batters.
Now one would think with the moisture in the atmosphere as well as a dampish Diego Martin strip, ball would swing.
Short ball, it's in the air. This could be a catch, and it's caught on ball. So 2 in the over for Kasa. James, the dangerous James, goes for 11.
Yeah, and again, we've been mentioning about that moisture in the pitch there. You could see it from the front foot landing position of Kasa. And that one dug in short. Kasa has been known to pitch some short deliveries to Zeta James, as we mentioned previously. And that one just not coming through at the speed that you would have anticipated with the spongy surface here. And James could not help but just scoop it up into the air off a leading edge back to the bowler Kasa, who gladly accepts the chance. And she has 2 for 2 in her 3 overs. Just rewarding her captain with giving her that extra over. Bowling her 3rd. Look at it here again. Short delivery again to James. Spooned up in the air. Easy as you like. And it's the 2nd wicket. And what a big wicket it is for the Trinidad and Tobago team. It's 12 for 2.
Well, the captain did say that she was backing her bowlers to limit the Windward Islands. And so far, so good for them. Now they have 2 new batters at the wicket. Neither one of them settled just yet. But she hasn't really changed the field very much. Still the sort of standard fare for Trinidad and Tobago, except that they don't have a person swooping on the boundary. There is a 3rd man on the fence, though. And there's a delivery coming in, and she's struck, and she's not comfortable. She's not happy at all. It jumped at her and hit her somewhere in the midsection or just above the hip area there. And you could see Terrell walking away, but very uncomfortable indeed as the over comes to an end. And at the end of over number 5, it's 12 for 2.
A little bit of an extra bounce there, Kasa, as we've been seeing, and just crashing into that left hip of Terrell.
Yeah,
Made her very uncomfortable indeed as we have a look at the parents of the Trinidad and Tobago captain, Mr. Ramnath, Mrs. Ramnath, and of course Rajiv Ramnath, former Trinidad and Tobago under-19 player. Plays for the Marching Club in Central. Here to give support to the Trinidad and Tobago under-19 team.
So Trinidad and Tobago, the captain now will take up the attack from the southern end as she tries to keep the pressure on Samara Ramnath.
Ramnath has been known to open the bowling for the Trinidad and Tobago team, but this time opting for the seamers. She brings herself on, which she does as well for that last over of the power play. Good start here from both batter and bowler. Nice pitched up delivery on about the off stump, pushed back along the pitch by Philip. Tyrell rather.
They just need to figure out how they're going to get the ball away here right now. It's not easy for them. And having lost 2 quick wickets, consolidation sort of comes to mind almost immediately. But you have to find that balance as to try to keep the scoreboard ticking over. You don't want the dot balls piling up.
Interesting last over of the power play. Only 1 fielder outside of the 25-yard circle, and it's deep mid-wicket, not all the way on the boundary. It's about 10 yards inside.
That's a good shot, but again, the field is well set, so not able to get it through Ramtahal in the way.
You want to just be careful with those short ball outside the off stump there. There is no short third. There's a point fielder in Ramtahal. Extra cover mid-off. 4 on the offside for the off spin of Ramnath. 5 on the on, mid-on. Straightish mid-wicket. Deep cover. Forward of square and a short fine.
Again, a pretty good over, quick over, and a very, very good one on maiden to start proceedings here for skipper Ramnat. 12 for 2 at the end of over number 6.
Such an excellent over there. Maiden. Not very often you see the final over of a power play in a T20 tournament, T20 game, going for a maiden. But the Windward Islands just under some pressure, losing 2 early wickets, and not just 2 early wickets. They've lost their captain, Zeta James, who's the leading run scorer for this Windward Island outfit.
There's some of our communications system, the antennas, able to service the entire valley area and beyond as well. I couldn't tell you who is the owner of that. I know we have so many providers now. Sometimes the antenna is belonging to one person and all the receivers are just placed on there from different owners. So never could tell. Harry Charan now picks up the attack for Trinidad and Tobago, and she too starts with a doozy.
She is going to provide the leg spin bowling for the Trinidad and Tobago outfit. It's going to be Tyrell on the receiving end. And there are 2 in the deep on the onside. A straight deep mid-wicket. And a mid-wicket on the boundary in that of KD Jazz Mitchell. Mitchell back in the Trinidad and Tobago lineup. She's not opening the bowling as she would have been expecting to at the start of this tournament. Not quite comfortable yet with that left knee of hers, just coming back from injury, back into this final game of the tournament.
This one is struck nicely in that. They're going to get a couple here, maybe 2. They have to turn quickly. They're a bit slow in getting there. The return is a good one, but the running was excellent indeed.
Yeah, that leg spin taking it away from Phillip there, and she cuts it past backward point, spinning away, gets 2 runs, opens her account. Natalia Phillip on 2 now. There we see KD Jazz Mitchell. She's on the deep cover boundary, deep mid-wicket boundary.
It's another powerful shot. That's gone through the gap, and it's not going to get to the boundary. And again, they will have to settle for 2.
Espinosa giving chase there. One of the most athletic fielder for this Trinidad and Tobago outfit. She's as mid-off. And that one was hammered between cover and mid-off. Espinosa giving chase and getting the throw back in.
Things starting to move along here now, Phillip and Terrell. And not able, she really should have really whacked that. You could see her now rehearsing the shot. She got it on the full. Almost like she was stargazing there. She wasn't sure what she wanted to do with it.
She might just have been mindful that KD Jazz Mitchell is out there on the boundary as well as a cow corner. But the full toss should have been put away.
And this one is stroked again, but mid-wicket is in the way, nicely fielded by Mohit. And that completes the over. 7 completed. It's 16 for 2.
So a couple loose deliveries in that over from Brianna Harichan, but got away with it. Just checking the shot there. Mindful of fielders in the deep and the fact that they've already lost 2 wickets. And the sun is out in all its glory to dry that surface out there. See some of the fans, some of the players just taking shelter under the umbrella. The parasol, Ruskin.
Smart girl. It is hot. We were out there for the toss, and it's not only is it hot, it's humid. Like I said, there isn't much breeze around. And as a result, it's very, very still. That's another good delivery. A little bit slower, and given a little bit of flight. Maybe trying to see if she could tempt. Now she is bowling into that little breeze. Well, there isn't much of a breeze, but she still only has the 1 player out in the deep.
A lot of variations from the captain Ramnath. She does flight a couple, she pushes through a couple, and even has a leg spinner, which she uses to good effect in the final overs of an innings.
She is cutting and missing, and well taken again by Fagu.
Look at this one here again. A lot of guile in this Trinidad and Tobago off spinner.
Well, that was the leg break. She went with the leggy. So she's mixing up her deliveries. And back to bowling off spin here.
5 dot deliveries in the over. Precious dot balls here.
Again, giving it generous flight and asking Terrell to come onto the front foot. When she gets there, she can't take advantage. The end of the over 8 completed. It's 16 for 2.
So a good start here for Trinidad and Tobago, taking up 2 early wickets and just 16 runs on the board for the Windward Islands. It's third place playoff encounter taking place in the Diego Martin Sporting Complex, the northwestern point of Trinidad and Tobago. Here we see the tailor-made umbrella. It's not golf out here, but such as the outfield here looks very much like a fairway.
Yeah, that was the second maiden of the innings for Trinidad and Tobago. So they're finding ways to just stifle the run flow. And this time she was waiting on it. That was the same delivery she got earlier and couldn't take advantage.
She does well to roll her wrist over it, get it on the ground, out to that Ramtahal out there at Cow Corner. They've pushed the mid one back somewhat as well. She's not all the way out to the long on position on the boundary, just about 20 yards inside. 15 yards probably.
That's a peach of a delivery, touching down and just beating the outside edge there. Jada Terrell fishing, as they say.
Yeah, leg spinner's dream delivery. Going past that outside edge.
Once again, bringing the batsman on the front foot. And Trinidad and Tobago, the bowler is doing a pretty good job here, just keeping things quiet as much as possible. That's a wide signal by the umpire.
Just a mixed bag here in this over. Full tosses, short delivery. It's just 2 runs in the over, 1 single and a wide. She want to come back in this over.
This one is up in the air, but it's going to land safely. And again, just a 1 run coming from it. So even though she didn't get the maiden, she's still keeping the the batters relatively quiet, not allowing them to get on with the scoring as they would like to do. As again, the ball leaves the bat uppishly. In fact, it was in the air for quite some time. But because the field is so set, it's almost as if it's like, I don't want to say cast in stone, but it's like a standard field that they're employing. And here they go again as the ball nicely fielded, hit hard, but straight at Manpaul once again to end the over. And at the end of that over, 4 runs off at 20 for 2 after 9.
Brianna Haricharan there conceding 8 runs in her 2 overs so far. It's been a mixed bag from her. Couple full tosses, not being put away. She doesn't quite yet have that control she'd want. There's going to be a bowling change here. Looks like Zahira Mohit is going to come into the attack, the off spinner. She was left out of the last game. Back into the team now. She's going to bowl from that southern end. Fielders on the boundaries, a deep backward square, deep mid wicket, a long on, and a cover sweeping on the offside. 5 in the ring. Going to bowl to Philip.
Umpire just trying to make sure that everything is okay. Not very often you see that. The bowler starts to run up ahead of the umpire. And, very casually played back. Now you could see some adjustments here. The captain wanting to swing the bowlers around a bit, swing the fielders around. So Zahira Mohit.
Generous flight there for Mohit. Seeing all the bowlers here using flight to their advantage. Short in stature there. Zahira Mohit. She's a power box in the outfield though.
Slightly quicker delivery this time.
Very athletic, very nimble in the outfield. Very consistent in her line and length. I hope I don't put the muckers on her, but she has been very consistent with her off spinners.
This one they're turning it again. A little bit of purchase of the wicket. And at the very last minute, you could see Terrell trying to turn it on the onside. So there's a little bit of turn there. But it's not like prodigious spin. Once again, the batter trying to hit the ball on the up. The timing all wrong.
We'll be just mindful that the drinks break should come up after this delivery. 21 for 2.
Once again, she does well. They might have been able to squeeze a single there, but they waited so long that the fielders converged, and that ends over number 10. And at the end of it, just a 1 run coming off it. It's 21 for 2 after 10 as the players get a little refreshment.
Their game, winning the
As we welcome you back here, we're getting ready for the resumption of play. We players have had a little opportunity to get some refreshments, but more importantly to get some instruction, both teams. And I'm sure the Trinidad and Tobago camp would have been saying, keep it going, more of the same. As when we see Manpaul coming into the attack now.
Starts down the leg side there. Tobago behind the stumps there. She's had a good tournament, Wago, coming into this team, changing gloves with Katrina Rubin. And having taken over, she's done very well behind the stumps. Rubin being bumped up the order to open the batting with Ramnath. And the left-handed opener, Amita Ramtahal, just dropping down to the number 3 position. But she's had a good tournament since coming into Mikafago.
And this time it's a little bit of misfeeling, but just a 1 run in it. So Manpaul, I suppose, like I said, it's where they're comfortable, and I think that's part of the challenge for coaches at this level, because you don't want to totally change everything about the players. You kind of like, that's a peach of a delivery as well. You don't want to, especially given the limited time. Look at where she starts her, and she starts her run almost behind the umpire, and then sort of ambles up and put it there. So I suppose as she becomes, as she gets comfortable, as they say, in her own skin, then she'll be able to take, that's 4 runs, and that could be a no ball as well. We'll see if it is 6 signals on no ball. Yes, it is. And 4 runs, so that'll be 5 runs to the score. And just like that, things happening. 28 now for 2.
Kira Manpaul there, just after the drinks break, just being warned there by the umpire. It's over the height of the waist. That's her first warning. Ramnath just having a word with her. She's not having that rhythmic run to the crease. It's a kind of slow start, not really getting into her action and building momentum. And that one, not. She's known for her outswing bowling. She has the ability to get significant outswing, but just not quite the start here after the drinks break.
She has to be careful. There is a deep mid wicket now on the boundary. And again, she's driving and missing outside the off stump. So right now, Manpaul is 1 good and 1 not so good. When she's good, she's very good. And then she probably tries to experiment. Now, can she replicate that? Bowl down. Brilliantly done indeed. All she had to do was just put it on spot. And again, just a little movement. And that did the rest for her. That should give her a world of confidence going forward. That is the end there of Terrell. She goes back.
And that's the type of delivery we've been speaking about. She's ability to get that ball just to move away. And that one just started just between middle and leg there, and just fraction of her movement beating the outside edge of Tyrell and nicking that off stump along the way. So Manpaul has had a good tournament as well. She's picked up a lot of wickets along the way. She would have been one of the finds for the Trinidad and Tobago team a couple of years into the team, and has a bag of wickets with her. Just correcting her line and her length in this over. She's been a bit wayward, full toss, and the last 2 deliveries, with the last one hitting the off stump and bang on targets. And just as when the Windward Islands was starting to get some runs and the scoreboard ticking over, it's 28 for 3 now with the loss of their 3rd wicket. Terrell going for 5 runs off her 23 deliveries.
Isha Alexander is her replacement at the crease. And immediately she's able to put bat to ball and is off and running.
Nisha Alexander, she's batted in partnership. Made no contact, crashed into her. She was standing in front of that middle stump. And umpire Tudor, having no choice but to judge her out LBW. She goes for 8 runs off of 14 deliveries. And the 4th wicket down now. 2 wickets falling in the over, in this 11th over, right after the drinks break. And a very dejected Philip walks off the field there. She's had a couple good scores in the tournament.
So there are some of the supporters, the spectators, family and friends, and they're no doubt keen to see the Trinidad and Tobago players do well. So it's Mohit who's picking up, continuing at the other end.
Maya Gilbert, the new batter to the crease. She opened in this innings for Windward Islands, batted 1 down as well. But here she is, coming in down in the middle order. Capable with the bat, Amaya Gilbert.
Swing and a miss there. The wicketkeeper didn't take it cleanly, but did remove the bails. Gilbert probably looked back and wondered what went on there as the spectators come in and feels happy with what they're seeing.
Family and friends, some of the players or just supporters.
And that's the thing, a lot of the sort of mature women in Trinidad and Tobago, I suppose in other Caribbean islands, probably didn't have this when they were growing up, an under-19 regional tournament where they could hone their skills and develop. You know, you think back to when Anne Brown and her sisters dominated regional cricket, and you know, but they played all sorts of sports too. They played hockey, they played football, and this one is too far down leg side. The umpire had no choice. So that's the thing. So I'm sure these mothers and grandmothers must be overjoyed the fact that these young ladies now get a chance to play and to represent Trinidad and Tobago at the youth level. That's a good shot. A little bit agricultural, but she made good contact. Man Paul is out there and immediately limits them to just a 1 run.
That is the strength of Nisha Alexander. She tries to work everything. Her setup is to pull everything into the onside, clearing that front leg.
She looks like Ian Wason there to a large extent. Very agricultural in her approach. But Wason would tell you he's a bowler and not so much a batsman.
Does he like to clear that front left leg as well?
Yep.
It's going to be Gilbert on strike. 31
Now,
for 4.
I don't know if he makes contact very often, but the approach is the same. That's well. And did that one? She's bowled. Just clipped the top of the stumps, and both bails fell off. So a pretty good delivery from Mohit, and the fans are loving it here at the Diego Martin Sporting Complex. And that is the end of Gilbert. She goes back to 31 now for 5.
So a flurry of wickets here. 3 wickets falling in 1.5 overs after the drinks break. And I know we're heading to in the last game of the tournament. 5 wickets down here. It's going to be Selena Ross to come back out. Windward Islands would want to try to go home on a much more positive note, losing 5 wickets for 32 runs.
You can see that ball following Amaya Gilbert. And not able to really respond to it.
Just wondering, we see in both Alexander and now Ross coming in ahead of Danella Crease. Crease, since she moved down the order, taking over the wicket-keeping gloves, she's had a couple good scores into the 20s, 20 and 25 in 2 games leading up to this last game, but not yet out there to bat. It's going to be...
So Roscoe, is it? Who's going to pick up the attack now? Or Naidu?
It's going to be Naidu here. Roscoe just missing out in this game. Harry Charan and Naidu will provide the spin. Leg spin. The field is going to stay the same with a long on 3/4 way to the boundary. Katie Jazz Mitchell at cow corner and a deep mid wicket in that of Kassar on the onside.
This one is in the air. It's going to fall separately. She just got her hands to it and she couldn't hold on to it. Well. She did all the hard work coming in there and just not able to keep it in her grasp. And Ramtahal, I'm sure she'd be disappointed with that because she covered a lot of ground to get there. And then it just came out.
She's occupied that mid-off position for much of this tournament. Has had a couple chances go to her that just having to run in a couple times and dive forward and not quite being able to hold on in that position. There you see the captaincy of Samara Ramna just running down to her, congratulating her for the effort. Wanting to keep a positive mindset with her players out there in the middle. Samantha Ramnath has had a good tournament as captain for the Trinidad and Tobago outfit.
That's another good delivery coming back. There's a stifled appeal, but the umpire probably a little too high. Umpire says not out. So things moving along quickly here. Trinidad and Tobago introducing their 7th bowler right now.
Ramnath has been making changes to her bowling lineup, not just her field placing, but her strategic approach to the game as well. This one played out to the backward square. Kassar does the fielding on the boundaries, 1 run to the total. And her bowling changes that she's been making have been spot on. Bringing on the right bowlers at the right time, just assessing the conditions. Not to mention bowling herself for that power play, final power play over, and bowling the death overs as well.
And there's another stifled appeal, not out, says the umpire. And Naidu asking questions here.
So a lot of positives for this tournament so far for the Trinidad and Tobago team. It's good to see Katie Jazz Michelle back onto the field as well.
And that's well played. And she had to turn almost all the way around to catch up with that one. Had she left it, would have been a wide. Now it is signaled as a wide. So I thought she had gotten a touch onto it, but apparently she didn't. So
the right-hander Alexander on strike. Just look for her to clear that front leg, tug it into the onside.
Alexander goes and again not able to. This could be problems here if they control it, and that's well done. Very well done. The return comes in, and the bowler this time doing the smart thing, getting behind the stumps and effecting the run out. So both batters ending up almost in at the same crease, and then both of them also running again in the same direction. But Ross is the one who has to go, and she goes without scoring. And that is the fall of wicket number 6.
And the Windward Islands not doing themselves any favors here at all. Ross quite capable with the bat to stick around and bat through. But calling for that run there with Alexander, that one taking the outside, the bottom part of the bat actually, and going out to backward point. And Ross, it was Ross's call. It went to the left of the fielder at point. And she took off calling Alexander, only to realize that Alexander wasn't going to go anywhere. It didn't go too far from the point field, and Ross had to turn around. But once she had made her way so far down, it would be virtually impossible, barring a bad throw, for her to get back into her crease, and she's going to run out for no score, having just faced 2 deliveries.
So Danella Crease is finally at the wicket. And she makes immediate contact, threatening a boundary here. In fact, she will get a boundary. And that was beautifully played, almost equidistant between the widest mid-on and the deep mid-wicket. Neither one could control on it, and they got close, but not close enough. 4 runs to end an eventful over, one would say. And at the end of that is 40 for 6.
Just wondering, Katie Jazz Mitchell has been patrolling that boundary at deep mid-wicket and deep cover. She's clearly not moving too freely with that injured left knee of her. Just coming back into the game, not 100%. Just wondering if she should be out there patrolling that boundary. Just see her there, just gingerly running around, not wanting to put an extra effort to make that injury any worse there, and just pulling up on that ball going into the boundary. She's not going to bowl in this game, I don't anticipate. Just wondering why she would be out on the boundary having to do chasing like that.
So now it's Espinosa.
I just want to take an extra precaution with her. There is the bigger picture of the West Indies women under 19 team. I want to get her fit and ready for that. She's the vice captain of this Trinidad and Tobago team. Lost her early on in the tournament, coming back for a second run and pulling up at the non-striker end and jarring her left knee. It's still heavily bandaged, as we saw this morning.
Well, look at the weather, how it's changing, just hovering above us right now. Some very dark clouds. We hope it stays away. A little bit of swing there for Espinosa. The ball, you can see the ball curling in the air, and as a result hitting the outside edge of Crease's bat.
And the Captain Ramna, they're ringing in the changes again. Just 2 overs from Mohit, 1 for 3 or for 2 overs. And with that rain coming in, that dark cloud just coming over the mountains there, the Captain Ramna just wants to bring her fast bowlers in again. Wide delivery, started wide and just kept going. And I was making the point when I saw Espinosa in the last game, she reminded me of that Jeff Thompson type delivery. Of course, Jeff Thompson ran up, had a kind of bouncing, bubbly run, and then he would go into that sidearm javelin position and then unleash thunderbolts at you. I was more picturing like a Fidel Edwards type action, but spot on there. Ruskin mark.
Yeah.
Jeff Thompson getting that slingy action in that high left arm up and that ball slinging around. And of course, this is coming in from the foreign player, Danielis Espinosa, out of Venezuela, playing for the Central Sports Club in a reserve team this season, making her way onto the Trinidad and Tobago team.
Yeah, she is again touching down and getting the movement away from the outside edge. Crease having difficulty finding the middle of the bat here.
Look at that delivery again, that slingy action there. Just that banana shape, slight bit of a banana shape there for her. Takes it away from the right-hander, Crease.
So again, a lot of dot balls, really compounding the situation here for the Windward Islands. They haven't been able to really get on top of the Trinidad and Tobago bowling. And of course, this is what the 8th bowler for Trinidad and Tobago. So almost everybody's gotten a bowl.
Just starting that one a little too wide and not coming back, heading down the leg side. Take there from Tamika.
When you consider this is over number 14, so there's 6 to go after this. The skipper has a couple. And but of course, Kassar has 1. And that's well bowled again. A play on a miss. To see her feeling for it. She does grip the bat very low down, almost in the splice. And you could see just by pushing the bat there, the face of the bat is open and it's facing upwards, so that could easily fly to slip if there was a slip. And that's well played, but that's also brilliantly fielded there as well. Good anticipation to end the over, and at the end of over number 14 is 42 for 6 to Windward Islands.
Espinosa coming in, conceding 2 runs in that over. Katie Jazz Mitchell, good to see her just confident enough, diving away, making that stop to her right. Of course, we've been talking about her injury and that left knee there, but good enough to get back out there. Vice captain of the Trinidad and Tobago team. Espinosa finishing her over there. 14 gone. She was discovered at a Central Sports camp over the vacation. Espinosa Danielis, along with her brother, accompanied her brother to that training session in Felicity in Shogunas, and it was discovered that she was quite capable with the bat, featured in a newspaper article with her picture, playing an on-drive, textbook style, and made her way onto the Trinidad and Tobago team. Central Sports, of course, that reserve team winning out their division, placing first, as well as the senior team winning out the tournament this year, 2024, Central Sports Club.
This is going to be Brianna Harry-Charan, who is going to come back into the attack now. This one is in the air, again dropping safely. A little bit of a collision there, and but you can just see trying to get to the ball and hoping to get there was Naidu. Naidu actually picked it up, and then she just kind of ran into Ramtahal and brushed her off, but both of them seem to be okay. So all's well that ends well.
Another ball in the air to Ramtahal, and a number of them in that mid-off position has been dropping just in front of her, and another one on that occasion.
This one hit hard, but again probably hit too well. Didn't give her time to try to squeeze out a single there.
KD Jazz Mitchell being moved from that deep backward square position. She's at mid-on now. That ball just played out to her. She's inside the ring.
Again,
and it's in the air, past her.
This one is going to go up to the boundary for 4 runs.
My flighted delivery there from Brianna. Hit in the air. Previously, there was a long on about 3/4 way to the boundary. Personnel being swapped out, and it's KD Jazz Mitchell, but not all the way. She's inside the ring and mid-on, and then we see Samantha Ramna making the change there now, putting Ramtahal in that long on position, and Mitchell is going to come inside the ring in that mid-off position. She'll still be in the firing line. A couple balls just popped up in the air to mid-off. Support growing here in the Diego Martin complex for the Trinidad and Tobago team.
Again, another well-struck delivery, this time coming out into the deep, where again it's Espinosa showing her capabilities.
And she's so good in the outfield, very athletic indeed, charging in there, picking it up on the bounce, tumbling over and getting the throw in. An excellent player for Trinidad and Tobago and a good find. Slower, shorter.
Yeah, as is the preferred movement, everything going towards leg. Not afraid to really have a go there, Alexander.
You can see they're clearing the left leg a la Ian Wason, trying to tug it into the onside.
Another delivery that was in the air for a while, but dropping and forcing her to really miss the contact, and conceded, well, couldn't get it away, although she hit it on the full. It's the end of the over. 15 completed. It's 48 for 6 now.
So Windward Islands just approaching that 50-run mark. The previous game, these two met. The Windward Islands making 60 runs for 9 wickets. They're 20 overs. 5 overs here. 2 go to 12 runs short of that 60-run mark in the previous game. That game, Trinidad and Tobago managed to chase down. It was going very smoothly. And there was a flurry of wickets as Selena Ross came back into the end of the innings there and picked up 3 quick wickets and was on a hat-trick at one point in time. Trinidad and Tobago eventually getting to 61 for the loss of 4 wickets. Samara Ramnath, 28 not out, taking the game home for Trinidad and Tobago. She's back in the attack now from the southern end.
She has 2 overs to work with. So she will bowl 2, no doubt. And of course, Kasa will bowl 1. But she has a number of options for the other 2 overs. Because she's used 8 bowlers in this game. So quite a few of them will only get 1 over. Some will just get 2.
Suspect she might just bring herself on for the 1 over here. She likes to bowl that 20th over. So might just be bowling the 1 over here to get someone in at that end to bowl the other 2. And finish with Kasa at the northern end.
Again, well played, but probably too well played because it traveled quickly to mid-off.
He's coming later down in the batting order here. She's had a couple good scores. I'm just wondering, she would have come in a bit earlier with the loss of those wickets to try and stabilize the innings. She is the one who is in good form along with the captain Zeta James.
Well, I suppose the thinking of the management team is to at least give some of the other players opportunities as well. Yeah, she's again trying to go through the onside and not able to really take advantage. That ball kept a little bit low, and you could see her cramped for swinging room there.
Yeah, she's living dangerously against a very cunning opponent, Ramnath.
Wide signal by the umpire there, so they all count.
Just spoiling the over there somewhat. 5 dot deliveries and then a wide delivery. She's had incredible figures. 2 maidens in her first 2 overs. And just missing out on a 3rd maiden there.
So just a wide in the over, and 16 completed now, and 49 for 6.
Yeah, Samantha Ramnath bowling her 3rd over there with the ridiculous figures of no wickets, 1 run, 2 maidens in her 3 overs. There she is just shepherding the fielding position for this over now. Ramtahal at long on, Espinoza, deep mid-wicket, Kasa, deep square leg. The fielder's on the boundary. There's a short fine leg. Katie Jas Mitchell is going to make her way to backward point. There's a cover, 3/4 way to the boundary, an extra cover in Naidu. And Manpol at mid-off. It's going to be Harry Chan to continue.
And she'll get some runs here, probably get a couple.
Ruben giving chase down there at short fine. Went past her on her right side. Runs around, picks up with her left hand, gets to throw in.
So Harry 3 overs and 1 ball, costing her 16 runs so far. No wickets just yet.
Pulled into the onside. Another full toss from Harry Chan. She hasn't been able to pitch as she would like. She's bowled a number of full tosses in this innings, bowling from that northern end. But none have been really capitalized, bar 1 that went into the boundary with Mitchell chasing around from deep mid-wicket. She's gotten away with a few. That brings up the 50, those 2.
And that's a wide again, not able to. The return is just it's a little bit labored. It's not able to really rifle in the return, but they get a run, and they actually get 2 runs for it. So Alexander is on 12. 12 from 14. So Harry Charan looking to finish up this over here now quickly. She has 3 legal deliveries left in her spell.
Yeah, good change there by Captain Ramnath, putting Espinosa at that deep mid-wicket position. She's very agile, very quick in the outfield, races in, picks up and gets the throw to the non-strikers, then limits them to 1. 55 for 6 now in the 17th over.
And there's an appeal for a stumping, but I think she was able to get back in time there. Just because we could take off the bails, the bat was sliding back into the crease there. And you could see Crease having a big swing and a miss. But just the momentum took her back into the crease.
We've seen Tamika do this before. First appealing to the presiding umpire as well as taking the bails off, trying to get 2 bites of the cherry. She thought it came off the inside edge of Crease rather. So she was appealing to umpire Tudor, presiding, but did take the bails off as well, just in case.
Not taking any chances with that one there. Keeping it out. So that completes the 4 overs there for the bowler. She takes a cap and moves away. Not for 20 from her for Brianna Harry Charan. It's 55 for 6.
Harry Charan, the acting vice captain of this team when Mitchell was out injured. It's a mixed bag there from her in this final game, going for 20 runs in her 4 overs. Not that the runs would have concerned her, but the number of full tosses she bowled in her spell of 4. And it's going to be Zahira Mohit to come back into the attack, replacing Ramnath bowling just the 1 over. She'll come back for that final over, the 20th over. It's going to be Alexander on strike. There's a deep backward square in Ramnath herself and a deep mid-wicket on the boundary, as well as a long on.
Mohit again giving it generous flight. It's really challenging the batters to make a decision. Either you hit it up in the air or you hit it hard on the ground. You make the decision and you apply the power as well, because she's not giving them much pace to work with.
Watch very carefully by Danella Crease. She's on 5 off of the 17 deliveries. It's looking very good since she's come to bat.
She probably swung a little too early. The ball hit the toe of the bat. As she was looking to really hammer that through the onside. And she swung so hard that she probably went past the ball almost. So luckily it just hit the toe of the bat.
Did she pull it into her own foot there? I just saw her just limping off there. The end of that shot. Hammering it into her foot. Almost putting a nail in her own coffin. Had that gone back onto the stumps, this is pulled into the onside. Cover is there in Ruben. Gets the throw to the non-striker end. Keeping Crease honest. They're looking for the second run on a fumble from Mohit, but Jazz is there to clean up. Just a 1 run in the end.
A lot of young ladies watching at the cricket as well. Getting inspired, and again the ball peels off that edge. They're going to get a second run. They thought about it for a while, and then they decided against it. And for a moment there, it looked as if Crease was, or Alexander rather, was ready to charge down the wicket for the second.
It was excellent work from Naidu there, running around from short fine leg to backward point where that ball went. And it looked like 2 was on the cards, but she was so quick to it and get that throw back in. Batters hesitated.
And again, that one is hit hard, but too hard, straight to the fielder, and can't get a run in the end. So there is the, those are the bowling figures for the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers. And at the end of 18 overs, it's 58 for 6 now.
So Mohit there, finishing her third over, 1 for 5. She's had a good spell, broken up into 2 spells by Captain Ramnath. It's going to be the 19th over, and it's going to be Kassar to come back to complete her spell. She just has the 1 over left. She has incredible figures of 2 for 2, 2 wickets for 2 runs, 1 maiden. She'd want to add to that wicket bag here in her final over. So as we anticipated, she'll bowl that 19 over, and you could put your house on it that Ramnath will bowl the 20th over. Bet your house on it.
So Alexander 15, creases 6. 58 for 6 here now. We're in over number 18, over number 19 now, being bowled. Kassar is back. And that one jumped over the off stump. But once again, the movement is towards the onside. 17 dot balls make that 18. And the ball just clipping that off bail, just moving past it. And here she is again, playing and missing, the ball coming off the inner portion, coming through the between bat and pad again. So none of the batters, probably with the exception of James, have been able to counter that inward movement, or that, in James's case, the away movement from Kassar. All the others seem to have difficulty. This is going to be interesting. Can she get the return in? She does very well. Again, Espinosa attacking the ball and releasing it quickly. Good fundamentals.
Yeah, just looking back on the ground there, her studs just got stuck in the ground there a bit. So reached down, was still managed to get her one hand on it and get the throw in. So it is 60 for 6 now. Previously, the Windwards in this battle against Trinidad were 60 for 9 at the end of 20. They've gone past that now with that pull shot down to long on. 61 runs in the 19th over.
So Kassar trying to finish up strong here now. She 4 overs. She's in her 4th over at the moment. Was another short ball, but it's pounded down to that mid-on position where they're going to get another single. .62 now for 6 in over number 19. Alexander, who's 16, is back on strike. Crease 8 from 23, so she hasn't really been able to get the ball away as she would like. She's been playing a lot of shots. She just hasn't been able to cash in. Another one lifted. This could be out if she hits the stump. And she tried to hit it, but the ball bounced up. Mohit was trying to hit it, direct hit, but it just bounced and went into the gloves of the keeper. By that time, the batter crease was back. So that's the end of 19 overs, 62 for 6, 2 for 5 from 4 overs for Kassar.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I was about to lose my house there as Mohit took her cap off, got down to the end of the umpire Willoughby, but Samara Ramnath is making her way to bowl that 20th over. She has the ridiculous figures of 3 overs, 2 maidens, 1 run. And that 1 run being a wide. The Ramnath family there. Cricket runs in that family. Relation to Justin Manik as well. Kitty Ram as well.
Yep, I'm trying to figure out what the, is it like a little cut or something that she has, and it may require maybe a plaster or something. So we will have one of the reserve players coming on for Trinidad and Tobago, Jessica Roscoe, it looks like. Or Christina Naipaul. Yep, Christina Naipaul got to run out there for that last over. Gets an opportunity to run around in the field some.
Katie Jazz Mitchell there. Seems she just came off the field. She's back on now in that extra cover position. Ramnath is calling the cover fielder Kasa closer in from the boundary.
That's powerfully struck.
Mitchell just left the field in that last over from Kasa. She was at backward point. She's coming back onto the field now.
Again, everything being swung towards the leg side.
Two runs in the over thus far. 63 for 3. Just have a look at Ramnath there. Just delaying a little bit. Just thinking about what is she going to pitch for this delivery.
All right, on target. Remember, this is the battle for third place here between Trinidad and Tobago and the Windward Islands. So it's really about who can hold the nerve here the best. Can the Windwards finish up here with a couple big hits? Push the scoring forward. This one is in the air but over the head of the bowler, and they will settle for just the 1 run. So she won't mind that too much. Ramnath.
Another one in the air to mid-off at Ramtahal, just teasing her, trying to run in and take that catch, but well short of her.
That was a leg break, starting wide and continuing to go wide.
It usually comes that leg break in the 4th delivery of the over. Not wanting to let out too much of Ramnath's secret, but it's come to be a little bit predictable. Very close call.
She's again, they're going to have to hurry this time, and she hits the stump, and she might have just got the bat down in time. Just a look at it here, she was dipping the bat. She didn't drag the bat in. She dipped the bat in. Look at it. She started off with a run, Alexander, and the return comes in, but she might have just made it, but I think she'd be better advised to drag the bat over the line as opposed to dipping it over the line. So there's a slowed appeal. She's on WW, trying to turn it on the onside. Crease goes for 10, and the innings comes to a close there now. And the captain picks up a pepper at the death, 67 for 7 is what they will end at in their 20 overs, and Crease playing all around that one.
Yeah, just reward there for Ramnath on her final delivery, picking up a wicket. She'd bowled 2 maidens and just 1 run coming into her 4th over and final over. And going for 6 runs now in total, conceding 5 runs in her final over, but picking up that wicket as well. And that will be the end of the Windward Islands innings, with Daniela Crease finally falling to Ramnath there. She's out for 10 runs in her 26 deliveries she's faced. And 67 runs on the board as the ground staffs now make their way out into the middle just to do the pitch cleaning up, tidying up action. There are some clouds around Ruskin, and let's hope they stay away. And that interval there,
Well, there it is. We had that. We had about an hour, hour and a half, all of about 15 minutes. We were off the last time, and we had rain from almost like two directions, literally converge on the ground. Let's hope that is not the case here today. And at Windward Islands, I'm sure they would like to see if they could get a shy, as they say, at the Trinidad and Tobago batters. But the TNT team will need 68 for a victory. They have all 20 overs, and a win here will give the winner of this game third place in this year's competition. Remember, Trinidad and Tobago came in as the defending champions. They can no longer hold on to that title, but I'm sure they'll love to settle for third place. So we'll have that when we come back. Welcome back to the Diego Martin Complex, Sporting Complex, where we witnessed a very interesting third place battle between Trinidad and Tobago and the Windward Islands. But we also have a battle with the rain here right now because it's circling the facility here. So we have to be mindful of that. At the moment, it just seems to be just almost creeping over the mountains here, threatening the facility here. And as we say so, before a ball could be bowled, here comes the covers as the ground staff rushes on as the heavens have opened up. Not full throttle just yet. We're still just getting a drizzle, but it's enough to force the umpires to try to protect the wickets and not allow the wicket to get any kind of wetting, so that it makes life very difficult later on. So we will have a little bit of a delayed start here to the reply by Trinidad and Tobago. The Windward Islands were all set to go as they try to defend their 67 for 7. Trinidad and Tobago would have been opening with their captain, Samara Ramnath, and Katrina Rubin, but neither one got a chance to face a ball, and for long, certainly very, very unfortunate that this has happened.
Well, we were wondering at the start of the game, the clouds were present. They were sitting far away, but that northeast trade winds very much coming in over the mountains here in Diego Martin, into the valley here. And we just see to the south side of the ground, it is raining. And the umpires, along with the ground staff, erring on the side of caution just to get that covers out there on the square as quickly as possible, because that rain from the south does seem to be getting closer, and the darkest part of the cloud still to come over that mountain there. And it's very ominous signs here for this third place encounter. Very comparative scores in that game previous game between Trinidad and Tobago and the Windward Islands, where Trinidad came out on top, chasing down 60 runs to win for 4 wickets, losing it. And this time they're going to have to try and chase down 67. And let's hope we don't lose too many overs here with this delay, and we will get a full game on our hands.
We're hoping that, well, there's plenty of time, if you know what I mean. We still have, a couple hours to complete this innings. But that all depends on the weather. Now, when I was doing the news this morning, and obviously there had a weather forecast in there, and the forecast was for some showers, especially around hilly areas. So I guess this is par for the course, and we just have to remember we're in the rainy season, so you can't be too surprised that you get rain almost every day, especially in Diego Martin and other parts of the country. Arima, I suppose, is another place where it rains a lot.
We did have that Hurricane Beryl at the start of this tournament, impacting the facilities, the training, and not to mention the homes back across the wider Caribbean, in Jamaica, all the way through the Windward and Leeward Islands, as well as Barbados and Grenada. We did have a scare here in Trinidad and Tobago. We wish well to all the people having to undergo any repairs and so on, the families back home for the Windward Islands players and all the players in this tournament, in fact, that have traveled here to Trinidad and Tobago. They've been very worried about what is taking place back in their own island.
Here it comes now, like it's really starting to come down. That's because the ones to our right, it looks like, is, I suppose it's meeting the one that's coming straight directly in front of us, and probably starting to converge a little bit more. What I must say though, and I suppose, I don't know where they got it from, but certainly because they have some extra covers. We've seen 2 additional blue tarpaulins covering the entire stretch, the run-up and beyond. And if they wanted to now, they could bring on the yellow ones or the white ones and cover, the parts across the wicket or to the sides of the wicket as well, to make sure that they protect as much of the the outfield as is possible so that when the rain subsides, that play could resume as quickly as possible. And it's ironic that the rain isn't really falling here that heavily. In fact, it's probably just a drizzle here, but just to our right, it looks as if it's like coming down there really heavy. And I suppose the folks, well, I suppose down where I live down there, the Martin Central, more or less, would be getting a good wetting at this time. But the ground staff, they continue to work feverishly to make sure that they cover the wicket properly. And kudos to them. They've done a really good job getting the covers on. And now they're securing them properly so that there's no seepage, or even if the wind picks up, that the covers will be firmly intact. So we'll take a break, and as soon as we get the resumption of play, we will come back with you. So as we leave you, no runs and not a ball bowl just yet. In the Trinidad and Tobago reply, they need 68 for a victory, and but the rains came, and they still need 68. We get their reply when play resumes. Welcome back. Great news that the weather has basically bypassed the sporting complex, and for now at least, and will allow play to resume with Trinidad and Tobago all set to go to start their reply. Remember, they need 68 for a victory, and they have all 20 overs to get those runs. So I think they'll be happy that they didn't lose any wickets. In fact, we only had a brief interruption just as the players were about getting ready to start. The umpires, again, being cautious, decided to bring on the covers. And now they've withdrawn those and we're about to go. Here's Ross. And right on target, as is the custom with her. Selena Ross, certainly one of the standout bowlers in regional women's cricket.
We see a change there. Ruben taking first strike. Normally Samar Ramnath would face that first delivery.
Again, a nice little curl. There's the ball starts to curve back in the air. And Ruben having to be watchful.
It was something we were discussing at the start of this game, Ruskin, just off air. If you know you are so critical to a batting lineup, you just have to temper your innings to try and bat through. And Ramnath.
That's a good delivery again, but we're doing a little too much. And curling into that pad, just striking the pad and going out on the onside for a leg by to
Ramnath,
get things going.
This Ruskin Ramnath being dismissed of the first delivery against the Barbados team in that critical game a couple days ago, this time opting to let Ruben have the first strike, changing it up a little bit to give some experience to her fellow teammates.
And that's a wide. And so Ross has to be careful here.
Ramnath will be well aware. Selena Ross picked up 3 quick wickets. She was on a hat-trick in her final over, in the final over of that last encounter between the two, when they were chasing down 61 runs for victory. She gets that ball left arm over the wicket to tail back into the right-hander. She wants to start it just on or about the off stump, outside the off stump.
And that's a good delivery, and she's going to get a run here. I think they'll be happy with one, and they are. So Ramnath is off the mark.
And that's the field placing set for that ball swinging into the right-hander. There's a mid-wicket, and there is a sweeper at the deep square leg boundary. Looks like Terrell out there. And there is a long leg in place and a first slip.
And trying to really put in a big expansive drive to a delivery that was well up, but she was really not in the ideal position to play it. Look at her feet almost stuck together there, and then pulling away. She's pulling to leg and trying to play a ball outside the off stump.
Ruben likes to get that right leg outside the line of the off stump for that ball pitch wide outside the off stump, but it's going to come back into her.
And this time she's using a more orthodox method to end the over. And at the end of it, 3 without loss. Trinidad and Tobago, after they restricted the Windward Islands to 67 for 7.
Yeah, and Ross, a very accomplished left arm medium pacer for the Windward Islands team, and a good prospect for the West Indies under 19 team. She does get that delivery a la Pedro Collins, starting outside the off stump, coming back into the right hand batters. So a good start there from her. Trinidad still 3 runs from that over. It looks like it's going to be the bowling of Gilbert to open the bowling from the southern end, the end from which the rains came. Umpire Willoughby presiding there. She's going to bowl to the captain, Samara. So full, and she's bowled. First delivery up, and Gilbert strikes. Head in the air. It was a full toss, but it was dipping on Ramnath there. And for the second time, she goes early in the innings. Head in the air, playing all around the shot. Have a look at it there again. Gilbert fully flighted, dipping on her, and trying to pull across the line of that delivery, and it cannons into the stump. Her eyes lit up with that delivery, thinking she could pull it away and get an easy boundary. It was not to be, and the captain, Samara Ramnath, goes very early indeed in this piece. So it's 3 for 1 now, and it would normally be Zeta James as Ramnath trucks back dejectedly to the pavilion. Last game in this tournament. She's had a good series so far with the bat. Had a 60 in the warm-up game coming into this tournament. Notched up a 40, a 28, a 35 as well. Picking up wickets along the way as well. But now falling, walks dejectedly back out. It's going to be the new batter, Amrita Ramtahal. Started the tournament opening the batting and just dropping one down the order to allow Ruben to come back into the team. There we see it there again. That dismissal there. Bitterly disappointed. But the Windward Islands have their first wicket, and they made that chase in the end in their last encounter. This is a little bit of a revenge match here. And a good start for them. Good start for Gilbert. Another full toss. Ramtahal strokes it down to mid-on. Goes off for a quick single. She set off early enough, and Ruben was quick to respond, and an easy single in the end. Played out to mid-on. Takes the total up to 4 for 1. And we've seen Zeta James open the bowling in tandem with Selena Ross in previous encounters. But this time it's the off-spinner, Amaya Gilbert, who is into the attack first up. And it's going to be Ruben who's going to go on strike. Fielders are dropping out into the deep, a deep backward square for the right-hander, and deep mid-wicket on the boundary. Gilbert in. Pitched up. Played back along to that mid-wicket, no run. So Trinidad and Tobago coming out to bat, and the rain's coming down, just breaking up the concentration. Coming back out now and losing a quick early wicket. Short and pulled away. The backward square came into square leg. It's not going to get to the boundary. And Ruben comes for 2. Just crashing into Zeta James there, Ruben. Sliding her bat in. Ensuring that she got in time to beat the throw out there. Another full from Ruben. The end of the over. It's going to be a new over from Selena Ross now. The score 12 for 1. Ruff is going to bowl to the left-handed Ramtahal now. There's a slip, and this one goes past the outside edge, keeping that first slip. Zeta James very much interested. Have a look at it here again. Outside the off stump, just moving away. Ramtahal not quite getting in line. Into the third over now. It's a loud appeal there. Not out, says the umpire. Ramtahal prodding halfway forward. Doesn't seem to have gotten any bat onto it. Have a look at it here again. And just swinging away from here. Here's the bat just snagging the pitch there. Ramtahal will just have to negotiate through this spell here from Ross. This time she is in line. We spoke about it in the previous games. Ramtahal does have a trigger movement, taking her back leg, her left leg to the leg stump, and then tries to get in line. Remember one Clayton Lambert, he was one that did that, take that power play. Selena Ross bowling her third over here. None for two so far. This one starts outside the off stump, coming back in and cramping Ruben for room. A good start here from Selena Ross. She came back to bowl that final over in that encounter against Trinidad and Tobago in the Brian Lara facility and picked up 3 quick wickets. This one played out very competently. It's the end of the over. 13 for 1 after 3. Samara Ramnath falling. Bowled off a full delivery for 1 run. Trinidad and Tobago needing a further 58 runs in this encounter. Gilbert, it is going to be to continue. Just an update on the other games taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. First place battle between the Guyana under-19 women versus the Leeward Islands. It's the last over. Leeward Islands batting are 68 all out in 19.4 overs. It's a short ball. Ramdahal tries to get it past total of 68. It's going to be a no ball. Just pitching outside of the pitch itself. No ball signal by the umpire. It's going to be a free hit here. It's a full toss, chip down the wicket, over the head of mid-on. It's Ross there at mid-on and it goes into the boundary now. And Ruben, knowing it's a free hit, full on the charge there. Skipping down to Gilbert there and pulling a full delivery. And signal again another no ball by the umpire. So 2 no balls in that over. Just conferring with the square leg umpire Troy Tudor. That was over the waist. So Gilbert just has to be really careful here now. The free hit is going to be in effect. Ruben smashing the last one for 4. Takes her total to 12. The field has to stay the same. Same batter on strike. It's another full toss. This time it dips cannons into the stump, much like the dismissal of Ramnath. Katrina just head in the air somewhat, swinging too early, and that ball dipping and hitting into the stump. Of course, it being a free hit. The dismissal won't count, but it's well over the height of the waist as well. No signal from the umpire. So 3 very full deliveries there. Ruben just placing her left hand on her back there as she swung so vigorously there. Might have just pulled something in her back. Not making any contact. I see James just sending the backward square. Bit of confusion there with... Looks like Destiny Edwards there at square leg, trying to send her back to the boundary for this delivery. Oh, this is a full toss way over the head, and it's going to be another no ball here. And Gilbert is going to be in some problems here, because that is 3 full flighted deliveries that have gone over the height of the waist. The umpire signals a free hit here, signaling the no ball. Not seeing any warnings officially being given to the bowler, but that one over the head of Ruben. And Zayda James just coming down to the bowler, having a word with her. Just drying the ball out. Could have been a touch wet from that rain we had during the interval. Just drying the ball out somewhat. So inadvertently there, just the wet hands on a wet ball slipping out of her hand. So this over has read so far .1 no ball. A no ball that was hit for 4, another dot and another no ball. So 17 runs so far in this spell. And it's another one over the head. Signal no ball by umpire 2. Both umpires, in fact, signaling the no ball. And it seems as though Zeta is going to having a word with the umpire there just to indicate that she might take her off because she's not able to control this. She does have a rag now, yes, and she's just indicating to her captain there that she can't grip the ball there. Just that moisture in the outfield from that rain that fell, and she's not able to dry her hands sufficiently enough. Typically after the second no ball, there'll be after the first no ball, there'll be a warning. If you bowl a second one, you'll be out of the attack. Signal by the umpire Willoughby for a free hit. Gilbert is going to continue. There have only been 3 legal deliveries in the over thus far. This one is better. And it's hit straight in the air. 2 extra cover. So we've seen 2 free hits, one cannoning into the stump, the second one being hit to extra cover. And Ruben is not going to be out. It is a free hit. But more importantly, for the sake of Gilbert, it's a dot ball in the over. And just 1 legal delivery to come for her to finish this second over of hers. So another full toss. And it gets under the bat. Did she play it on there? Because the bails are broken. And the wicket has fallen, that of Ruben. So the final legal delivery, they're picking up the wicket of Ruben for 12. You have a look. She comes around the wicket this time. And it goes behind the back. Spinning back in. And hitting the leg stump. Effecting the dismissal. So it's 2 wickets down now for 22 runs for the Trinidad and Tobago team. And that will finally bring the end to the second over from Amaya Gilbert. A very eventful over. 4 no balls for over the waist signaled by the umpire. And a wicket in the final delivery. And Gilbert, amazingly enough, now has 2 for 18. Or for 2 overs. As Ruben goes bowled by Gilbert. The end of that over, it's 22 for 2. The new batter, Brianna Haricharan, makes her way out to the middle. Well, that would have been the end of the over. There's still 1 delivery to come. It's going to be Haricharan to face it. Flighted and play, and a miss outside the off stump. There's an appeal from Zeta James for the stumping. But that back leg was anchored there from Harry Charan, and that does bring the end to that eventful over there from Amaya Gilbert. 2 wickets she picked up for 18 runs in her 2 overs with some 4 no balls. Oh, she was struggling just to keep control of that wet ball. Have a look at it again here. She just gets that ball to move away from the right-hand batter. Coming back over the wicket. So it's the end of the 4th over, 22 for 2. Trinidad and Tobago resuming after that rain delay. They made their way out in the middle. Play was halted, not a ball bowled, as the rains came down. The ground staff, Mr. Rampasad and company, were very quick to get the covers on and very quick to get the covers off. It's still overcast here, the sun just peeping through in spells. Going to be Ross to bowl her 3rd over. Swinging away from Ramtahal, the left-hander. Ross bowled the previous over to Ramtahal, and there was a lot of playing and missing outside the off stump with that ball shaping away from the left-hander. So Jada James just getting her point fielder Terrell in exactly the position she wants her. Because she'll be very much in the game with that ball moving across the left-hander. Pitching outside the off stump and going wide away. Even wider away, and you could see Ram to half, legs just anchored there, not getting across, realizing it was too wide to play and letting it go through to the wicket-keeper crease. Just fanning at it there. She'll have to learn how to get that feet moving to get across in line of the swinging delivery. Yeah, that other game, Guyana has started their innings chasing 68, 69 runs to win. Windward Islands being bowled out. Guyana 5 without loss after the first over. Haddad picking up 3 for 5 in that spell for Guyana in that game. Barbados taking on Jamaica in that 5th place playoff. Barbados being bowled out for 63 runs in the 20th over. And Jamaica has just started their reply. This one played through the gap between third and backward point, and Terrell does the chasing. Gets it, can't prevent the second run. So James was just fixing her, adjusting her in that position. But as we know with left-handers, that shot through point, they're very much their bread and butter with that ball coming across them. Usually it's a right-hand bowler coming into them. They can play that ball through that gap and find that gap most times than not. See James again trying to adjust them. So there's a point and a backward point now. Trying to shut the door. Pitched up. Worked into the onside. Ramtal takes off for a quick single. It's Destiny Edwards there. A direct hit from her at mid-on, but Ramtahal well in. Early call by her. Pinching a single. Bringing that over to an end. So it's 25 after 2 after 5 overs. And just 1 over now to come in the power play. It'd be very interesting if Gilbert does get that ball to bowl again. No, we see. Looks like Francois marking her run-up out. We'll have a look at that throw there again. See Ramtahal's legs are in the air, but that rule being changed. Where once you ground your bat, doesn't matter if you are in the air when the throw comes in, you have already made your ground. Just trying to avoid the throw in. Skips over it. Ramtahal goes on to 6. Pinching that single there. She is going to take strike to the new bowler, Delisha Francois. Replacing Gilbert 2 for 18. The slip has come out. This one pulled straight to mid-wicket. Short ball. Ramtahal quick to get in line and pull it. Can't beat the mid-wicket. So there's a short fine leg, a third. Point, cover, extra cover. Mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket. And a square leg. All fielders in the ring. And pull this time. Pass. No, it doesn't get past mid-wicket there. And Tyrell knocking it down on the bounce. Did very well indeed, because had that gone past her, it was heading toward the boundary. Good stop there, just knocking it down there to her left. Recovering well, can't prevent the single, but certainly saving the boundary. That single takes the Trinidad total up to 26 for 2. This is the last over of the power play, and Ramtahal showing intent to try and put away as much deliveries as she can, but it's bringing Harry Charan. She's going to face a second delivery. Just flicked into the onside. There is square leg there. Gilbert still struggling to get her hands onto that damp ball. Can't quite pick it up. It was hit powerfully. Came quickly to her. Brianna was looking to take off for that single. So far Zeta James has set everybody inside the 25-yard ring, and 2 deliveries has gone straight to them. He's pushing forward there. It's going to be Tyrell trying to charge in and stop that quick single. But Brianna and Amrita are very alert to getting that quick single. So Zeta James just trying to keep her fielders close in to prevent that rotation of strike. Unsuccessful on that occasion. Francois bowling just 2 singles conceded. So far she's dealing very well with the right hand left hand combination, getting her lines exactly right. Having said that, she pushes one down the leg side. Signal wide by the umpire. It's been a feature of these games. A lot of wide deliveries. The extras have certainly been up there, adding significantly to the totals. For all the teams, in fact. Extras usually over 10, some even as high as over 20. It's pitched up. Fuller delivery outside the off stump. Ramtahal gets across. No run. Strokes it out to cover. This one she's forcing one off the back foot to mid-on. Looking again to rotate strike. Hit powerfully enough, and too powerfully in fact, that it got very quickly to the mid-off fielder. No chance for that run. End of the over, the end of the power play. 28 runs. 27. 28 runs after that 6 overs. 14 dot balls from Ross, 7 from Gilbert, and 4 dot balls from that Francois over. So even though Gilbert went for 18 runs with a lot of no balls, she did have 7 dot balls in there. And Ross will come off the attack. There's going to be a change here. And it is the captain, as suspected. Bringing herself on. Left arm around the wicket to the right-hander. I was getting away with a wide delivery there. This one pushed into the offside. Another quick single there. Ramtahal calling. Brianna quick to respond. Good rotation of strike from the Trinidad and Tobago contingent. So 40 runs needed now. 31 rather, with that single. 14 overs to go. Clear skies ahead, which is good news for both teams. This one dropped on a quick single to extra cover, underarm throw, and she may have just been short there, Brianna. She was slightly hesitating to come through for that single. Look at it here again, just dropped into the onside. There is protection there. You could see there, picking up an underarm throw from Nisha Alexander. And had that been a direct hit, Brianna might just have been struggling to make her ground. Into the pad, just stifled the peel. Just dropped the backward point, straight to backward point, and a good strong throw, and she is going to be short of her ground there. Ramtahal taking off for that single. It was going to be tight. It was dropped down straight to the fielder at short third. You look at it there again. They were quick to take off, but it was so close to her. And a direct hit, it seems. And very much short of her ground there. Looks like Francois picked that up and rifled that through in the fast bowler. Powerful arm. And Trinidad and Tobago loses another wicket now. 3 wickets down now for 30 runs. An unfortunate run out there. Ram Charan going for... Ramtahal rather going for 8. She was much very much positive in this innings of her, middling quite well. And they had started to rotate the strike by dropping and taking some quick singles. You take those quick singles, you want to make sure it's either to the left or to the right of the fielder, and you have ample time. But this one was straight to Francois at short third. She wasn't that deep. Zeta James setting her fielders closer than the normal positions in the ring. As we said, all her fielders in the ring to try and shut down that single, and that is exactly what they did, and picked up a run out. This one again by Harry Chan, played to that short third, and it's 30 for 3 after 7, chasing 67 runs scored by the Windward Islands team. End of the over. It's going to be Francois to continue at Zeta James over, going for just 2 runs, getting the wicket. Run out via the run out route. This one flicked in the air past mid wickets. It's going to go for 4. Harry Charan picking up one. Well, it's getting very close to the boundary. That rain in the outfield made it heavy and just slowing up there. Ross is going to get the throw. They are going to complete 3 runs. As the new batter Espinoza there, she is very agile, as we mentioned many times. Making 3 runs very easily there. That one played past mid-wicket in the air, making its way out to the boundary. Somewhat damp outfield from the rain, just slowing up close to the boundary edge. And 3 runs to Harry Chan. She's on 5. Indecision in the running there. Again, Espinoza just pushing it out to cover point. Terrell there in the game. Because he's just... There is some moisture still there in the outfield. Fax is Natalia Phillip that does the fielding. Knocks it down. Sent back by Espinoza. Francois pushing up, comes out the outside edge. It goes past third. It'll just be the single. Still a little bit of moisture in the outfield there. The ball slowing up. It's allowing for 1 run. 4 runs in the over so far. Trinidad and Tobago halfway there now. 33 runs on the board. Chasing down that total of 67. Halfway there into the 8th over. Good looking off drive there. Very well timed, much to the appeasement of the fans here at the Diego Martin Sporting Complex, just cheering on that shot. It's been a good crowd for this encounter. This one pushed out. It's going to be another quick single. And had that throw been a lot better or even very closer by Natalia Phillip to the wicketkeeper crease, she tossed it underarm over the head of crease. And Espinoza was lucky to get in there. So Trinidad and Tobago living dangerously, trying to rotate the strike, but pushing the ball straight to fielders. They do get the run in the end, but very risky indeed. It's all well and good to try and look for singles to rotate the strike. But you want to be very careful about pushing straight to fielders and just taking off. See the manager there shouting out some instructions. Troika Batiste trying to tell them be careful about where you look for those singles. You don't need another run out here in this chase. There's Jada James starting the 9th over now. 35 for 3. She's bowling to Harry Chan. She's on 6. Past the outside edge and very smartly taken and trying to effect a stumping there. Danella Crease picks the bail. Has a look across at the umpire. No real appeal. Have a look at it there. Going past the outside edge and very smartly picking the bail. Both bails, in fact. Umpire Willoughby, Ryan Willoughby, showing that all is well now with the stumps. Retreats backwards to his position at square leg. Good delivery there from James. Just pushed into the offside. Trinidad and Tobago have been trying to force the issue with some quick singles, leading to 1 run out. Windward Islands have been eager to shut down these quick singles. Played out very nicely. Past mid wicket, 2 mid on. Comes around. 1 run. Sadia Simon there in the outfield. Coming in for her second game. Well bowled, well played. Head nicely over the ball, foot in line, high shoulder, high elbow. Pushing it out to extra cover. Good contest building here. Outside the off stump. Push through the gap. Pass extra cover. They're going to get 1. They're going to look for the second and take off for it. It's Ross getting the throw into the non-strikers end. And Harry Chan getting back in. And 2 good-looking runs there from Danielis Espinosa. That over comes to an end after 9 overs. It's 38 runs, 3 wickets. Ruben going for 12. Samara Ramnath for 1. And Ramtahal going for 8. The 3 wickets that have fallen. So it's the number 4 and 5 batters in for Trinidad and Tobago. The Windward Islands would want to get another wicket here and get into that middle order some more. Try to make this chase as difficult as possible. Usually in these games at the 10 over mark, the score is between that 30 to 40 runs, and we are right smack there. 38 for 3 after 9. 30 runs to get. Bowling change now from the southern end. This one hit in the air, past mid wicket in the gap by Brianna. It's making its way out to the boundary. It's not going to get there. They are going to get 2 runs. Nisha Alexander coming into the attack for medium pace deliveries. Still all the feeders inside the ring. Short ball and cut away. Pass cover. Philip couldn't haul it in, but it's Zeta James there sliding along the ground, picking it up with her left hand, and again a throw to the non-striker's end. Restricts the total by 1. 41 for 3. This is a battle for 3rd place in the CWI Regional Under-19 Women's Tournament. And the battle is certainly on here. These 2 teams meeting for a second time in the tournament. And for the second time, a total in the range of 60 or so. And Windward Islands making it very difficult as possible for the Trinidad contingent. Outside the off stump and just losing some shape there. Espinosa trying to hammer it through the offside, seeing some wit from Alexander. Doesn't make any contact as she was leaning backwards. This one worked into the onside again. Mid-wicket does the fielding. Can't get past the 25-yard circle. And a good rotation of strike here between these 2, a partnership building. "19 runs in the partnership thus far. Pushed uppishly Francois there at backward point on the bounce, just spinning a tad bit away. And that's the end of the 10th over. There's going to be a drinks breaks now. And the score is Trinidad and Tobago under 19 women, 43 runs. They've lost 3 wickets. And a battle is ensuing here. And that's going to be the drinks break. The Windwards are fighting very hard indeed to peg this Trinidad and Tobago team. Restrict them. Try to keep that 26 runs away from the total for them. And we'll take a drinks break here as well in the com box. We'll be right back after the interval. We're back after the drinks break. It will be Edwards to pick up the bowling from the northern end to Espinosa. No ball signaled by the umpire. Looks to be a no ball for overstepping. It's going to be a free hit there. Destiny Edwards coming into the attack for the Windward Islands team at 43 for 3 for the 25 runs required. Very long run up there by Edwards. Just overstepping there. Try again. This one outside the off stump. Off the front foot, Espinosa gets it uppishly down to that sweeper on the boundary there. Gilbert gets a good throw in. Nice stride out there by Espinosa. She goes on to 5 of 11 deliveries. So they've dropped the cover fielder back out onto the boundary. And there is a deep mid-wicket on the boundary as well. So previously, before the drinks break, all the fielders were inside the ring. Now 2 has dropped out. So short and rising goes past the outside edge of Harry Charan. Good pace there shown from Destiny Edwards. She's been the opening bowler at times with Selena Ross for this Windward outfits. But such is the format of T20, the spinners tend to put their hand up in that power play to open the bowling. Short and Pushed past extra cover eventually of the right hand of Zeta James. She gets down, left-hander, but this time was out to her right side. She couldn't quite hold it in, knocked the pace off of it. And Ross does the tidying up from mid-off. So Brianna rotating the strike. She's on 11. Pitched up in the air, worked into the onside, calls for the single, but Brianna sends back Dilianis. And both of them looking at each other now. Hands on hip there from Espinosa, looking at the former vice captain of the Trinidad and Tobago, saying, that's my call and I called you. Thinking she would have made it in. But of course, if your partner is not running, then it's not a run. It's a run out. That long run up from Edwards here, just losing rhythm there again, pulling out. Even though it's your call, if you're looking at your partner and they're not coming, you can't complete the run on your own. Might as well just go back to your crease. Short and pulled into the onside. There's a fielder out there in the deep. Natalia Phillip doesn't quite get it in, so allows for the second run. She's not all the way out onto the boundary. It was one bounce to her. She's just about 12 yards in from the boundary rope there. A deep mid-wicket. She's a little bit straighter now. And 2 runs to Espinosa, really going into her own now. Shots in the air, but past the fielders. Growing in confidence. Wide-ish delivery outside. Umpire 2 though, let's that one go. The end of the over. It's 47 for 3 after 11. 3 wickets falling for Trinidad and Tobago. Rubin 12. Brianna there is on 11. Ramtahal falling for 8. Of course, the captain Samara going off the first delivery of Gilbert. Flighted delivery. Went past her on the full but crashed into the stumps. Edward over going for 5 runs. It's going to be Alexander to continue from the southern end. And the sun is out in all its glory now. The dark clouds have gone away. We greeted with a midday hot sun here in the Diego Martin Sporting Complex. Fielders get into position now. Pitched up, played back along the pitch there for Alexander. She doesn't do the fielding, lets it go to Ross there at mid-on. And in stark contrast to Destiny Edwards, Alexander coming off just what looks like to be a 10-pace run-up. Just counting out the steps there, very much a 10-pace run-up as compared to the 25-yard run-up or 20-yard run-up from Edwards at the other end. There continue to be 2 fielders out into the deep, both square of the wicket. Nice line and length here from Alexander. 3 dot balls, Brianna Haricharan. Playing each ball on its merit, not looking to force the issue just yet. This time she's pushing it down to mid-on. Very interesting, before the drinks break, they were eager to drop the ball when all the fielders were in the ring and push for that single, even though it was going straight to fielders. Now there are a lot more gaps with 2 fielders out into the deep. And rather than drop it into the gap now, she's pushing it along the ground. This time she does drop it into the gap, but it's Zeta James. They're going to have to hurry. The throw comes to the non-striker's end. And it hits the stump. Goes out to Ross at mid-on, trying to back up. She tumbles over, gets some of her right hand onto that delivery. Cannot stop it, and the batters come through for 2 runs. So Harry Turan this time forcing the issue there, dropping it and running. She dropped it to Zeta James there, to her left as well, and a good throw in. Wondering if the ball hit the stumps, or was it the hand of Alexander that knocked the bails out? There was 1 overthrow. The total goes on to 49. Down the leg side. A good take there from Danella Crease. Since she's taken over the gloves, it's much improved her game, both batting and with the gloves. Not that Kayla George was doing a bad job behind the stump, but a change in strategy, causing a change in personnel from the Windward Islands, with Crease dropping down the batting order and taking over the gloves. It's a full toss, drive nicely, but it's driven to Zeta James, and you can't get past Zeta James in the covers there. The end of the over. The 50 coming up with that overthrow. The penultimate delivery of that over after 12 overs. So Trinidad and Tobago not far away now. 18 runs needed. Eight overs remaining in this encounter. Thus seems as though we're going to get those overs in, or this game will be completed without another rain interruption. Sun is out now. Here comes Edwards. Short. Cut away over the head of James at extra cover. Going out to the boundary. They're thinking about coming for the two. They are going to come for it as the throw comes in from Gilbert in the deep to the non-striker's end. And good running here between the two. Touching down, assessing that there is time enough to come for that second run. So they've taken some risk with the singles in the outfield, but when the 2 runs have been offered, they've certainly taken it very quickly. Edwards off a shorter run now. Pleasant looking forward defensive shot there, much to the cheers of the crowd. As which the Caribbean crowd, after you hit the ball with an aggressive shot, that forward defensive shot comes afterwards, much to the amusement of the fans. We've had a good assembling of fans here today. Outside the off stump, just losing some shape there with the shot, Espinosa. She's coming into her own, getting some runs on the board. She just want to see this one through. Yeah, just pulling away there, losing some shape, taking her body weight onto the onside. Edwards trying to induce an error. Good delivery, high up on the bat, and pops it up to Simon at mid-on. And that is the fall of the wicket of Espinosa. We said she was trying to get in the runs this time. Was looking good, played a few shots in the air, one too many as it turned out. At this one, high up on the splice of the bat, popped up to mid-on. And Espinosa falls for 9 runs, and the 4th wicket goes for Trinidad and Tobago with the total on 54. And Destiny Edward picks up her 1st wicket into her 2nd over. 1 for 7 from her. And Trinidad and Tobago, the management and the coaching staff will just want to err on the side of caution here. This is around the point where the Trinidad and Tobago team stumbled in their previous encounter against the Windward Islands, where Selena Ross was brought back into the attack and they lost quick wickets. It was around this total as well. 52 runs on the board, chasing 60 on that occasion. They are 16 runs away. And it's Kanika Kassar walking out to the middle. Just be mindful of what transpired in the previous encounter between the two. But it's not Ross, it's Destiny Edwards here. Umpire Ryan Willoughby makes his way to the onside as the left-hander, Kassar, is on strike. Right-hand fast bowler. On the back foot, pushes back along the wicket. Trinidad and Tobago has played the majority of the games after losing Katie Jazz Mitchell in that run chase in the 1st game against Guyana, when Trinidad were looking to take that game home, chasing down 94 runs, losing by 4 runs in the end after Mitchell retired hurt. She's in this lineup here today. Drop to Jada James on the onside. Mitchell in the lineup today, 52 for 4 after 13. So whilst Captain Ramnath may be happy to get her vice captain back into the team, experienced campaigner coming low down in the batting order, quite capable of taking the team home. She'll be happy for that, particularly knowing that Ross has to come back. But it has to be said, the ball has been the ball hasn't been moving around as it did in that counter in Brian Lara. a few days ago. There's been much less movement here. Alexander to continue off of that 10-pace run-up. Struck on the pad. There's an appeal. Ryan Willoughby just raising his hands slightly, giving the impression he was thinking about it. That one just tailing away from the right-handed Brianna and called wide by the umpire. Starting wide on the off stump, getting some movement further away. Leaving umpire Willoughby no choice but to signal out wide. One more run to the Trinidad total, one less run to get. Much closer on Brianna Harichan, just pushing it back along the wicket. Cognizant of the fact that just losing a wicket, she'll just want to just stem the flow, not look for too much risk now. Try to take this game home. Turns it into the onside and a diving stop there by Gilbert. The ball has certainly followed her in the outfield. And a good stop there by her. She can't prevent the single. It was an early call from the Trinidad batters. But good to see the Windward Islands full commitment. Just 15 runs to get, but still full commitment in the field, trying to make it as difficult as possible. No freebies in this game here in the women's tournament. Fielding change here now for the left-hander Casa. Phillip just makes her way from the deep mid-wicket boundary. She's running all the way across to the umpire at point for the left-hander. France White is who drops off the deep backward square. 3 fielders out in the deep this time. Deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, and a cover on the boundary. This one just slashed away to backward point. We do get the single, an early call from Brianna responding at the non-striker's end. 55 for 4. The right hand comes into position. Francois is going to stay on the offside on the boundary. Slashed past the wicket keeper. No chance of a run. Short third in place. Travelled quickly there to her. And a good stop. Wide delivery outside the off stump. Second wide for the over. Takes the wide count in this game up to 5 wides. 10 extras in all. Short and pulled into the onside. There's cover on the boundary. Comes in. Just one run. Does bring the over to an end. 57 runs after 4. 11 runs away, Trinidad and Tobago. 6 overs to go. Zeta James just might be thinking to bring herself back into the attack at some point. Just 11 runs to get. Selena Ross has 1 over left. James has 2. But it's going to be Alexander to continue. She's going to bowl out her last over here. She's gone for 12 runs. Hasn't picked up a wicket yet. Good delivery there. Good to see James as well. Bringing Alec. Oh, this ball is over the head of the batter, past the wicketkeeper down the leg side. Both umpires agreeing that it's a no ball for over the height of the waist. We're just contemplating if there would have been change to the bowling. And Destiny Edwards just losing all focus there. She's gone for 7 runs. She has been bowling well. Given the opportunity to get another over in. And making it very difficult for wicketkeeper Crease there. Should they get a run off the no ball, Kassar's going to be on strike. Hit high and handsome in the air. It drops just past the 25-yard mark. Gilbert is on the boundary. The ball is keeping track of where she is in the outfield. It's going to be 1 run to the total. And there comes up the 60 for the Trinidad and Tobago team, equaling the total in the last game that Windward's posted. And they're just 8 runs away now from victory in this final 3rd place encounter. Goes past the outside edge, and this is what we've seen Edwards do in this spell so far, barring that one ball that she just lost the grip of. The run rate over 4 runs per over from the Trinidad team. Ample enough for this run chase. Outside your stump, playing a miss. So Trinidad and Tobago looking for their 4th win in the tournament. They finished 3rd overall on the table, just 0.2 of a point behind the Leeward Islands team. The Leeward Islands team edging them out with bonus points, getting into that finals encounter against the Guyana team, taking place at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. So Trinidad chasing in all of their 4 games previously. Chasing here yet again. There's a lifting delivery there from Edwards. Harry Chan still there. 35 deliveries for her 15. Was the acting vice captain of this team with the loss of Mitchell. She's done a very good job for her team as vice captain. Good support for Samara Ramnath. And this is her here trying to see this victory through. Outside the off stump, driven to mid-off. End of the over. 60 for 4 after 15. Shot of the scorecard for the Trinidad and Tobago team. Man Paul scheduled to come in next. So with just 8 runs needed. Seems as though Francois is going to come back into the attack. Taking over from Alexander. Went for 12 runs in her 3 overs. Casa quite competently plays it out to extra cover. So in that Guyana Leewards game, that finals taking place, Guyana are 59 for 4 after 10 overs, chasing 68 runs for victory against the Leeward Islands. Very strong contingent Guyana fielding in this tournament. Captain Liliana Grimond, Naomi Barcoy having good seasons for their team. Pulled into the onside. Barcoy making 24 runs in this game of 24 deliveries. So not Belgrave, 21. Grimman falling for no score. It is Lutchman at the crease with Latoya Williams. Dot deliveries here from Francois. Doing exactly what the skipper wanted. And that 5th place playoff. Jamaica chasing 63 runs made by the Barbados team at 38 for 2. This one a heave-ho. Misses the bat. Struck on the pad. And Kanika Kassar falls. Wicket here to Francois coming back into the attack. 1 for 8. She has now building pressure with 4 dot balls and the wicket falling. We look at it here again to see exactly what transpired. She's around the wicket. Pitched inline. Struck on the back leg. Inline delivery. Pitching inline. Staying inline. Struck on the back leg. Kassar just trying to go over the top, over mid-on in that area. She falls LBW. And it's 5 wickets down now for the Trinidad and Tobago team. So Francois being kept in the attack by the skipper Zayda James and rewarding her captain with a wicket. Just one delivery to come in the over. Can she make this a maiden wicket here? She's into her 3rd over. Just 8 runs to get. And with that wicket, she may just be telling her captain, let her finish her spell off for 4 overs. One delivery to come in her 3rd. She's going to bowl to the new batter, Zahira Mohit. Right-hander. And that is a very curious looking shot. First time up from Mohit. It gets past the wicketkeeper, makes its way down to the boundary. Another good delivery to finish off her spell. But the total for Trinidad and Tobago goes up to 62 for 5. And Francois going for 10 runs now. So that ball coming off the bat of Mohit there, getting past the wicketkeeper, making its way down to the fine leg boundary. Hauled back in, and 2 runs to the total. 6 runs needed now. Yeah, and Captain Zayda James is deciding that Edwards is going to get another over. She's going to bowl her last over for the tournament. She's got 1 for 9 so far, over for 3 overs. She'll want to finish the tournament on a high. Full toss driven to James. Extra cover. So there's been 14 dot balls by Destiny Edwards in her spell of 3.1 overs. Conceding 9 runs and a really good final last game performance from her with the ball. Stretching this game out into the 17th over so far. Still 6 runs needed. Oh, this one is over the height of the waist, down the leg side. It's going to be signaled another no ball. And we've seen a number of deliveries in this game being signaled for no ball over the waist or pitching off of the wicket, and it's going to be the 2nd warning here for Destiny Edwards. So she has to be very careful here. Yes, and there is umpire Troy Tudor indicating after that 2nd warning she is going to be taken out of the attack. And she's only allowed as a medium pacer 2 of those, and the 2nd one you are going to be taken out. You're only allowed 1 in fact, and if you do bowl a 2nd one you are going to be taken out of the attack. So it's going to be Captain Zayda James inevitably having to take over now. Edwards was such a good spell from her. Just losing control of that delivery and being forced out of the attack now with that no ball. It is going to be a free hit. And it is going to be Brianna Harricharan on 15. Short and pushed off the back foot, sending Mohit back. It was straight to Gilbert at mid-off. Threw it into Zeta James, is not realizing that Mohit was stranded in the middle of the pitch. And the throw came in from Gilbert. Look at that shot off the back foot. She wasn't going to recover to come for that single. And Gilbert gets the throw back in on the bounce to Zeta James, not realizing she had time on her hands and could have executed the run out of Mohit. But it was not to be. She couldn't take it. Dropped the ball, hands hit the stumps, and a chance goes a-begging. Would have been a very interesting finish had that wicket fallen. It's 63 runs for 5 wickets. Just looking there, see that James at Mohit as she stopped her bowling action just to keep Mohit honest. It's a full toss outside the off stump. There's Gilbert again in the game, tumbles to her left, gets the throw in while she is on the tumble to the ground. And she has been working very hard in the field today, Amaya Gilbert. 2 for 18 in her spell. She had a very good first over. Got the wicket of Samara Ramnath. But the second over, that really went to pieces. So she couldn't control the wet ball in the outfield. And bowled a few no balls over the waist. So it's the new batter now, Mohit. She's going to face up to James. Short and pulled up in the air over mid-wicket. It's going to go out to Simon there, coming around from mid-on. Can't get to the catch. It was over the head of Nisha Alexander there at mid-wicket. And Mohit is not going to die wondering here. She's going to swing away. But it is Harry Charan. Calm and composed. She's on 16 off of 40 deliveries. Has been the mainstay of this innings so far. Pleasant looking cover drive. Out to Selena Ross, out on the cover boundary, has to come around. It's just one run. Good cricket all around. Three singles and a no ball in the over so far. Support of Harry Charan there. The name on the back of the jersey. Short and pulled past square leg. It's running out. It's going to be hauled back in. They're going to come for 2 for Mohit. Was Natalia Phillip chasing it down there. And that is the scores are now 68. And that is victory to the Trinidad and Tobago team coming back for the second run there. Brianna Harichan, she is not out. On 17, Mohit not out. On 5. And that is the completion of this game here. Brianna Harichan taking this game home for Trinidad and Tobago, finishing on 17 not out. Mohit coming in there to do the final rights as well. She got to 5. And chasing down 67 runs, the Trinidad and Tobago team completing victory there at the end of 17 overs, scoring that 68 runs, 3 overs left in the game, got there ahead of time. And what a tournament it has been for these ladies. Trinidad and Tobago fighting neck and neck in every game to try and get into the final. Missed out by 0.2 of a bonus point. Windward Islands just pinching ahead of them. The Windward Islands team, they were close behind as well on 13 points, but they had a rain-affected game against the Barbados team. Not able to get full points in that game, and a no result, having to share points with Barbados. And they finished 4th on the table. The Barbados team in the last game pinching victory against the Trinidad and Tobago team, forcing them into this 3rd place playoff. And what a game it has been from the Diego Martin Sporting Complex. I'll run through the scorecard for you. Katrina Rubin, bowled by Gilbert for 12. Samara Ramnath, the captain, she fell for 1, bowled by Gilbert. Amrita Ramtahal, run out for 8. Brianna Harichan, 17 runs, not out. And she was the mainstay of the Trinidad and Tobago innings, seeing victory home. Dilianis Espinoza going for 9. caught by seaman Bowl Edwards with another aerial shot, but she forced the issue trying to get this total. Kanika Kassa was out LBW for 2 to Francois, and Zahira Mohit there finishing in the end on 5 not out. The bowling figures, Selena Ross, only 3 overs. She's not completing her spell. She got 6 runs. Gilbert, 2 for 18 off 2. Delisha Francois, 1 for 10 in her 3 overs. An excellent spell from her. Zeta James, 2.5 overs, coming in to replace Edwards, who was taken off for bowling her second over-the-waist no ball. She went for 10 runs, Zeta James. Nisha Alexander, 3 overs for 12 runs. Destiny Edwards, a good spell from her before she was taken off. 3.1 overs, 1 for 10. And victory to the Trinidad and Tobago team. They will seal 3rd position against the Windward Islands team in this encounter. And an excellent game for the CWI Regional Under-19 team. Trinidad and Tobago finishing on a high. And there's a lot of talent we saw from both teams. And it augurs well for the Trinidad, for the West Indies Under-19 women's team with a lot of talent on show. The other game, Guyana are still chasing down that Leeward Islands total of 68. They are 63 for 5 after 11.3 overs. So in that game there, Guyana looking to be on top. The other encounter, Jamaica are 31 for 1 against the Barbados team, who scored 63 runs in that 5th position encounter. So that'll be it here from the Diego Martin Sporting Complex. It's been a pleasure having you tune into our broadcast of the Cricket West Indies Regional Women Under-19 tournament taking place at 3 facilities across the country: the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, the UWI Sporting Facility, Sports and Physical Education Center there in St. Augustine, and of course from here, the Diego Martin Sporting Complex. We'll be leaving you here. The ground is bathed in sunshine after a very much rain-affected tournament, and what a pleasure it was bringing these games for you. So on behalf of our commentary team here, our producer Kadir Mohammed, our cameraman today Ian Wason, myself Billy Fulong, and Ruskin Mark, who was here earlier on, we bid you farewell.